Property investing can be and is a great business. It can be lucrative. So you'll see some people who make an absolute fortune if you read the Times 100 rich list or look at some of the richest people in the world. But then there's lots of people who struggle, don't make money, or fail and lose a hell of a lot of money. And not everybody makes profit. In fact, a small number of people in the world of property make a significant profit. Most are just about making ends meet, and some aren't doing well. Why is this? Simply two reasons, I think. One is the ones who are doing well have a good, strong, established business, and secondly, they have experience and access to information, so they know what to do and what not to do. And that's really important, because you've got to know what works and what doesn't work, and have the courage to carry out your convictions. Now, just to be clear out there, I firmly believe property is not a get-rich-quick scheme, even though it's thrown around to be such. There aren't that many people who get rich very, very quickly, and those who do, by the way, usually end up having some form of capital or some kind of a USP which helps them get there. For most, it takes time. It's a step-by-step process. It's an investment, but it does work. Let's explore some of the reasons why people fail or do miserably at property. I think one of the main reasons why people don't do well is they don't do enough research. They overlook that. It sounds boring to them. They think they know how property works. They think it's very simple. It's just buy a property, rent it out, find a tenant, and here off you go. What's so complicated about it? And as obvious and as simple as that might sound, I think people overlook the challenges and the complexity and the work involved in actually having a good, strong property business. So you've got to do your research, and you've got to know your local market or your gold mine area really well. You've got to know your tenants well. You've got to understand how property works and understand it pretty much inside out to some extent, and then be comfortable with the numbers and be comfortable with what you're doing. Because if you don't, and you overlook research and you rush stuff, or you want to do a deal badly enough, which means you end up doing a bad deal, and that's something to avoid. Now, I'll put it out there that everybody in the world of property has to pay their entry fee, a penalty fee, which is at some point you're going to do a deal which isn't going to go too well. Usually for most people, it's when they're at the start of their journey, or those who end up doing something that they're not used to. So they might buy a property overseas. They might buy some land and try and build a house. They've never done that before. They have no property expertise, and they jump onto commercial to residential conversions straight away. So it's a lack of expertise, lack of knowledge, lack of experience, and a lack of research that usually leads people down the garden path. And you need to make sure you avoid that. So do your research and do your homework. Another reason is people underestimate the resource needed. So either they'll have a lack of cash, or they'll have a lack of time. They don't fully appreciate that, and they think all I need is a 25% deposit to buy a property. Well, that's fine, but how about the legal fees? How about the valuation fees? How about the stamp duty, land tax, if any is payable? If the property needs work, how about all the work that you need to, all the time you need to spend, and the money you need to spend on getting that property up to scratch? So people forget the detail and just look at it superficially and think it's straightforward. It isn't that straightforward. So don't underestimate the amount of time, money, effort, resource, energy, enthusiasm required to go into property, and you're better off assuming it's going to be a lot of hard work, and then hopefully end up doing less than that because you were smart about it, rather than under-egging it, underestimating it, think it's nice, simple, plain sailing, and then finding out that you either have a lack of cash flow, a lack of time, or you've done a bad deal which doesn't work. Some investors fail because they don't have clarity and a business plan. Now, the only thing guaranteed in a business plan, by the way, is the fact that things won't go to plan. But having a plan gives you some direction in terms of your key objectives, what you're looking to achieve, what the strengths and weaknesses are, what your opportunities and threats are, what your KPIs are, what your goals are, what your objectives are, the kind of people that you need around you, what your property strategy is, how much cash you need, and then doing some projections. All of that might sound boring and dull, and think that's what accountants do day in, day out, but it helps you gain clarity, helps you understand what you're looking to achieve, helps you fill in the gaps helps you to see that there's more to it than you think there might be, and then it gives a clear roadmap in terms of where you ought to be heading. So spend some time planning, and then of course spend the time after that in making sure that you actually follow the plan to the best of your ability. Of course there's going to be ebbs and flows and peaks and troughs and highs and lows, and you're going to have to change direction somewhat, but having some kind of a roadmap is going to give you a clear direction. A big reason why people fail, I believe, at property is they have a lack of discipline. They don't have key boundaries, parameters, non-negotiables, and they just won't think, I'm going to try and get the best deal out there and try and make the most money from it. Well, I've got news for you. Everybody's trying to do that, but there's a way of doing it. So are you targeting below market value properties because you're good at that, or you got a good deal source, or you've got access to good deals? Are you able to provide more funding because you've got access to funding from JV partners, family, friends, colleagues, associates, people that you know, so you can buy properties cheaper or better, or do more quicker? Do you have experience of refurbishing, redeveloping properties, or were you a project manager or another professional who has a particular set of skills that you can use to help you do things quicker and better? Are you the type of person who's a good negotiator? Are you the type of person who's detailed and gets things done? Are you the kind of person who's focused and make sure that you see things through? All of these things are important, and they might seem obvious, but it's the obvious stuff that people usually miss and overlook and get wrong, by the way. So make sure you're disciplined, you set your clear parameters and boundaries and non-negotiables and follow them, because most people fail due to having a lack of these things. Now, I firmly believe property is one of the best businesses out there. That's why I'm on YouTube sharing what I can. I'm also investing in property myself. You can see some of the videos on this channel and plenty of stuff on other social media platforms that I've shared. And I also, of course, work with property investors, both as an accountant and tax advisor, but also as a mentor and coach. And that's because I've seen property change people's lives, and I owe property a lot, by the way, because property helped me gain financial freedom. So it works, but it requires, like I said, discipline. You need to have a clear plan. You need to then follow the plan. You need to have a good team around you. You need to know exactly what you're looking to achieve, and you need to be focused. But most importantly, you've got to take action. So as long as you keep taking action, you're going to be fine.